Cold open.
It's a big day here on Bloom Health Club. America's tech champion, award-winning tech journalist, Kurt the CyberGuy is joining us with how AI is impacting our health and wellness and pretty much every aspect of our lives.
From the Stream Center, welcome to Bloom Health Club, sponsored by Monticello Family and Sedation Dentistry.
I'm so excited. I am fangirling right now. Kurt the CyberGuy, Kurt Knutsson, is joining us on the Bloom Health Club. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Gail. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. So this is so exciting. I mean, you started this so long ago, but now you must be really living in your element because technology, AI, I mean, now more than ever, we need Kurt the CyberGuy.
I mean, have you ever, since the internet came out, have you seen anything grab the entire world this fast, this big than AI is?
No, I've never seen anything like it before. And if you haven't dabbled with it yet, I would say now is the time to start because it's touching every aspect of our lives. And people watching or listening right now might be thinking to themselves, what does this have to do with health? It has everything to do with health.
Yeah, it does, because it's touching. I mean, AI is so big, it's touching every part of our lives. When it comes to health, it's not just touching like, what do we do as a patient, but it's really changing how medical research is being done. It's changing how your visit to your doctor is happening. It's changing how they can take your last MRI and put it together with maybe 3 other MRIs if you're looking at a disease progression in a patient, and profoundly see things that doctors with their own eyes can't see.
Yeah, and it's really like people might be thinking, well, how do I use this? Now, I think a lot of viewers and listeners are on ChatGPT. You might be able to write a letter with it, helping out with homework. But you're saying you can cut and paste medical information and let the AI review it, the artificial intelligence, and then you could take that to your doctor and say, hey, look, this is what it's telling me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great way. So, look, AI, ChatGPT, which is the front end that we're all sort of used to, where you can pose what they call a prompt. It's really just a question. Mm-hmm. You're asking it something specific. So the way to get a really great medical or health result while using it is to ask the right prompt or ask the right question. So be as thorough as you can, include as much of your own history as you can without naming yourself, without naming particular doctors, because we don't know. None of this is necessarily private. And so it could be exposed one day. But put in as much as you can about whatever you want to know in your life. Even if, most families have a family member that have something chronic. When you use AI to just track that and see what's around the horizon, or you may put in 5 different new symptoms that happened over the last 8 days, and you say, hey, this happened on Monday, this happened on Wednesday, and now somebody's got a fever, what do I do? It can give you some pretty profound results. Now, are those results accurate? Well, we need to have a doctor sitting here, but what I do is I take those results to my doctor, and I say, look, I use ChatGPT. It says that I might need a humidifier in my room to improve the asthma that was going on when I went to Aspen. Mm-hmm. And the doctor will say, well, no, that's a bunch of bull. Or, hey, that sounds smart. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I was going to say, I remember I was the healthcare advocate for both of my parents, and God love them. I was so close to them. They each died a year apart from one another. July 8th, 2016, July 8th, 2017. What I wouldn't have given, because I was dealing with cancer diagnosis. I was with my pen and paper writing everything down. Yeah. To have a tool like that, especially if you're the caregiver, because I was going to the doctor's appointments with them. I was asking the questions. I was having to track everything down. And I think to myself, man, if back in the day, if I wasn't a journalist, I don't know how people navigate the system.
Right. So that came natural to you, didn't it?
It came
just
natural,
go in and
but
journal
even that
what's
was
going
hard,
on
right?
And bring in those questions to the doctor. That isn't natural for everyone. In fact, I learned that from my mother-in-law, and in the same way. It was just like, when you show up at a doctor's office with notes and a pen, and you're the advocate of someone else in your family, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your kid, and you say, excuse me, doctor, could you repeat that again? I'm writing it all down. you'll have an entirely different doctor's visit.
Right.
They may not love that I'm saying this right now, but it will profoundly change how much quality you get of attention from a physician. So imagine when you use AI to find out the right questions or some questions to ask, bring it to the doctor, let the doctor, go through the quiz with you and shape it the right way, because ultimately you don't want ChatGPT, because it is flawed at times, guiding you with your health and necessarily. But it's a great tool to shape good questions to bring to a smart physician.
Yeah, that is a really great idea. I want to talk about other, incredible advancements using artificial intelligence and even robotic companions. That one was fascinating to me, about how these little robot dogs are actually helping patients with dementia, depression, loneliness. It's incredible.
Especially with seniors. So there's a robot called Genie, looks like a plastic dog. There it is. And I mean, it's a really, I initially saw this and I just thought, oh, what is this gimmick now? But then they actually put it into the hands of seniors that were suffering with dementia and had loneliness issues. And they found something really big happening. They were waking up to life again. They were cognitively becoming more aware of their situation, their surroundings, all from this inspiration coming from essentially an AI dog.
That's incredible. And you say you can see even in the video that, the children, adults alike, it could be interactive. And you say this could prevent maybe an elderly person from having to be moved into a nursing home. Just that small stimulation from having that robotic animal with you 24/7.
Well, these are designed in particular to get you thinking, to get your brain working again, and it meets you where you are, and then it helps you get on that journey back to where you came from when you were in a healthier state. And again, I cover technology now for a couple decades, and I saw this. I go, oh, it's a cute toy, but then you see the result, and you say, okay, that's a game changer, and that's going to change people's lives. And you're right; it's going to allow, especially all of our older loved ones, ourselves, when we get that old, to have tools to keep our own independence and not have to go into more engaged care.
That's incredible. Let's talk a little bit about you and your history in technology. I touched on it slightly at the top of the show that you've been doing this for many, many years, but now it's like you must be at the pinnacle of your career. And I know you have an entire team behind you. And what I love about you on a personal level, as a viewer watching you, which I often do, I love to stay plugged in, is you have a way of, for lack of a better phrase, dumbing down topics that could get people lost in the weeds. But instead, you're like spoon feeding us what we need to know about technology. And you do that through a newsletter that you put out for free every day.
Yes. I mean, so cyberguy.com is the website. Yeah, we have a team of people. I can't take credit for it all. The newsletter comes out. You can pick what you want on it, whether it's health advice, security, safety, protecting your privacy. It's very beneficial because it comes your way. It's very timely. We try to warn you when stuff goes wrong. We try to give you the kind of information such as, how do I set my phone so that the criminals of the world that are just pervasive now can't get into my family. And then, I look back at, I have been covering technology so long that I forget about moments. Like I've had moments with the leaders of technology all over the place. I had cool interaction with Steve Jobs at one point, the late Steve Jobs from Apple. And I see things come out and I just go, he'd be rolling in his grave to just see this one thing they're doing at Apple right now. But I've had the benefit of seeing behind the scenes. And what I've always known is, I think technology is a tool. It shouldn't replace us. Boy, there's a lot of people who are designing it to replace us and probably obliterate us one day. But technology should really help us, and it should be intuitively a tool that just enhances our life without complication. And for the most part, I mean, an iPhone, an Android, they are that. They you don't need an instruction manual. It's connecting us to all kinds of good stuff, but it's also connecting us to bad stuff.
Which is what you warn your viewers, readers, and listeners about often is, how not to get scammed. And man, it's so easy. We talk about deep fakes. One of the coolest things that I could not believe when Kurt was telling us about it, or not us, the national audience that he speaks to, but, don't plug your USB cord into an airport. Don't, because it could steal all of your information.
Yeah, we heard this warning before because it was sort of a trend of this going
Right.
on where these scammers would go and put something inside the jack at the airport or in public venues. And the FAA actually just came out with a more recent warning saying, hey, when you're trying to get that charge on your phone and you're sitting at the terminal about to board, don't plug in to those USB plugs. Go ahead and just get that little electric plug it into the outlet, not the USB jack, because those can be tweaked with by bad guys.
Yeah, and you say it's very important that we protect all of the data on their phone. You asked me behind the scenes what I'm doing, and I admittedly I got an F-. I mean,
I don't know about that. I think we all think we're doing the right thing, but because I report on technology, I see the bad stuff all the time. And we also hear the victims that are just like, I've lost, and they mention the amount of money or the torment in their lives when if they just protected their devices, the chances are none of these bad things would have happened. So my recommendation always is, I don't care if you have an iPhone, Android, iPad, any tablet, a PC or a Mac, everything you're using at this point should have a level of protection on it from a third party, like the best antivirus protection on it. And the cheaper way to do that is to buy it for the whole family at once. It also protects everybody. So you can look at reviews of the best of those at cyberguy.com. But the other thing is, like, I long ago, we were doing this series about how do you remove yourself from the internet. And boy, it was a hard series because it's a lot of work to go through, and you have to follow the laws in each state, and then you have to find the data owner, and you have to demand that they remove you, and then they may remove it 2 weeks later, and you have to follow up. And then you've gone through this times like 20 or 30, and it's hours. And then you're like, well, wait a minute, the first one's starting to put my stuff back on there because they do. So after that, there's now all these services, and you can actually delete yourself from the internet very easily. There are companies that scrub you off professionally. So again, when you think of subscriptions like that, I hate that we have to do them, but they're so effective because all of a sudden my junk mail, my spam calls that just came crazy to my phone, they're gone because the scammers can't find me when I'm deleted from the internet. And a good subscription company follows it, and they never stop. And they're constantly removing you from these public databases where criminals easily go spend a nickel to get everything about you to just bug the hell out of you. So I would say that's like one of the other essentials at this point in life. As big as AI has become, it's as big to criminals as it is to us saying gee whiz about health and other things in life. So get protected.
Yeah, get protected. Another really cool subject that hey, Terrence.
Yes, I popped in.
Middlebrooks.
Hey,
this is our director,
Yes,
Terrence
we met.
Middlebrooks. And Terrence,
Yes.
what questions do you have for Kurt, the cyber guy?
And the rule is, Kurt, I just slid in here, just popped in, not like a DM, but
well,
I popped
does the
in.
audience know that you're actually controlling the entire
I don't think
show
so,
right
but
now?
you know what? There's a shot right here that we will throw up, and I will show you somewhat of our command center.
There it is.
Yeah, so
Terrence is not a deep fake. He's actually real.
I am not a deep fake. I am actually real. But my question is, and really, like I was saying, is that usually when I slide in, that'll cue Gail to know that
To shut up?
this guy needs to talk. Yeah. Don't have me sitting here, blind like a deer in a headlight. So, but no, my question is, and I can't find what shot I need to get to next. But my question is to you real quick. You talked about how, AI pretty much can keep track of the questions that we may ask it. And it basically, really gets to know us. How much can we trust AI when it comes down to either cybersecurity of keeping that information? You just mentioned wiping everything off the internet, but can we trust AI to do the same?
No, you can't. So, I mean, at this point, there's really no right to privacy when you're using a lot of these AI bots that are out there. ChatGPT will tell you that you can delete your history, but it doesn't mean it's deleted to them. You're deleting it to what you see. So they have a right to change their terms and agreements of what we sign up for at any given moment, and they often do. And one day they could say, we'll never share your information, and tomorrow it could change. And then everything you've ever asked it, everything, like I do a lot of dumb stuff with it that I think is really smart, like uploading contracts with names on it, medical records, like what does this mean? And I get great info back, but I'm running a huge risk because I don't know. Will Terrence one day go, I got your MRI here, and oh, by the way, I see you bought this weird thing. Where is that now? Like, how did you know about that? So I would say be cautionary about using AI try to remove as much of your personal stuff off of it. I used to scrub my name off. I just got lazy. I should follow my own advice a lot better. And when I do upload a contract, I should remove the parties and maybe just put a John Doe name in there.
Is it safe to sign in? Because now you have to sign in to ChatGPT username and login. Is it safe to do that, or should you just?
They tell us it's safe. Yeah, I mean, I use it.
You're limited. You're limited with information when you don't, though.
I think I heard Gail say something about, what was your comment about free lunch, free ride, free lunch?
Oh yeah, there's no such thing.
Yeah, no such thing as a free lunch.
There's no such thing.
So I think, we've been trained by the, big tech companies of the world, like the Googles of the world and Facebook, Instagram, Meta, that we get stuff for free. But it's a trade-off. What are they getting? Well, they're getting total access to your photos. They're creating products that we may see it as, hey, this is going to improve my life, but also they're using it to market to us, to sell to advertisers. And I would say that, when it comes to the Metas of the world, they can't violate that too much because then we will stop using it, and another, Terrence will raid Silicon Valley and create his new, the new Google or the new Facebook or the new Meta. So that we sort of police it in that way, but there's no expectation of privacy on any of these online services. And the most ridiculous stuff I see every day is people sharing in real time. And you wonder, like, how did their house get robbed? Well, because they just showed you that they're at, at Disneyland right now or Disney World instead of at home. And somebody's checking in on that. And what I'm seeing now in our stories, we track crime like we have not tracked before. It isn't that these criminals got smart. It's that they're buying AI black market software that's smart, that knows how to comb as much information about your life into its application and then say, okay, what a value do I have of Terrence? Oh, wow. I've got his social security number. I've got his date of birth. I've got these 3 kids that live at the same address. I got their schools. I've got this. I know his car. I've got a photo of his car here, and it just goes on and on and on. So, can you trust it?
No, I would have to say no way. I was telling before
but
the
we're all
show,
suckers, aren't we?
I'm a sucker.
We still use it.
We want the easy route out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was telling Kurt before the show today that, I tend to ask it, and you and I have talked about this, Terrence.
Yeah.
I ask it questions about, because raising 4 emotional daughters is not easy. And I want to handle things delicately, and I want to bounce things off of it. And it's crazy to me. It's so loving back. Oh, Gail, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Let me help guide you through whatever it is that you're dealing with.
It empathizes better than your best friend, right?
It does. And then, after I use it and ask it questions, or can you help me write this email to my boss, or can you clean this up a little bit for me? Then a friend of mine said to ask it just simply with no prompt, say, chat, how would you describe my essence? What it was able to give back about my personality. It knows everything down to your psyche if you use it enough, and you use it for personal reasons to ask it questions.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Terrence, are you going to stop using this stuff?
No way.
No
By
way,
means
right.
whatsoever.
Terrence, do you use it for personal reasons?
I do.
You do, like what?
I do. Perhaps script writing. I do some freelance stuff that I might even ask it to write a script, especially if it's about a subject matter I'm not familiar with. For instance, I had a client that was a real estate agent, and I wrote a script for him, and man, it made me sound like I sell homes for a living. You
Was
know?
it like to show off a house?
Well,
that kind
it
of
was
script?
just to market this house or whatever, and so I used it to write the script for that. So,
Was it good?
yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
I'd send it to them, and they were like,
Right.
man, how do you know so much about this?"
So you're painting a scenario that sounds real helpful and not full of your own personal information that I'd be
Right.
worried about sharing.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm a pretty protective guy, so I try not to put in there,
Yeah.
my personal.
So it doesn't know
information
Terrence's
or
essence, but it has
No.
helped elevating his career, which is,
Yes.
I think another big question. We're going to move to viewer questions now. Kurt, David wants to know, will robotics kill jobs or create them? I think that's a big fear with AI.
Hey, David. Yes, it is. I mean, look, we're going in that direction. You're going to have a lot of people come out and say, oh, we'll never use robots to replace jobs or take out the humans at our company. Baloney. They're going to. The question is, how do you make yourself as a human being more valuable than the robot during this period where companies are saying, hey, we may replace you with AI, we may replace you with like a physical robot to do if you're like on an assembly line working on something. I mean, I'm to understand that a lot of Amazon distribution hubs are now completely robotic and they're heading in that direction. So if that was where your job was, how do you make yourself more valuable? And I would be asking that question a lot.
All right. The next question comes from Liam, who's asking, this is kind of similar. Is AI considered a modern day industrial revolution? I believe some
Beyond.
people are calling it the fourth industrial revolution.
For sure. I mean, for sure. Liam, I think we were all sitting here going, for sure, we're at that place where this is going to change the world. It's already changing the world. You got the money behind it like we've never seen. We have an investment into, I mean, we just saw the news today. OpenAI just took in another $300 billion investment just to keep it going. You're going, what? I mean, there's just so much money being thrown at it. And then, you even look at like all the tech leaders, you can always see like what's going to happen next. You look at the patents that they're applying for, you look at where they're spending their money with people and bringing in resources. And we've just seen a spending spree in Silicon Valley where, I mean, revenge of the nerds. You've got this 20-something-year-old kid who's some AI genius that just scored a paycheck for $250 million. This is well beyond any NFL grab or anything like this. Is just, it's crazy money being thrown at this because it is that big in how it's changing the world.
That's incredible. All right. Emily, and you kind of touched on this, wants to know, how is AI impacting healthcare?
It is changing. Okay, so imagine if you had at your disposal and you didn't need to worry about what insurance you have or if you weren't covered, but you could, let's say you're dealing with a particular ailment in your life. If I said to you, I can put 300 of the top physicians that research this area in the same room with you to review everything and then give you an answer back. And by the way, it won't take hours. It'll be in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's where we are. Now the question comes, how good are we at making sure the information that it's coming back to us with is accurate? So again, I would keep medical professionals in the whole realm of that recipe so that if you're using technology to profoundly change maybe the way you track your own health or you ask questions of your physician, I would make sure that you are actively involving your physician for something that's really life or death or important to your health.
All right, Kurt, last but not least, how do folks follow along with you and get to know you and watch your reports?
Well, I'm available for dinner tonight.
All right.
No, it's cyberguy.com is a website that we run, and it's up 24/7. And our newsletter is what we're most proud of. And you get a free newsletter there at cyberguy.com, and then email me anytime. I'm happy to answer questions. Honestly, it's when people chime in with questions, we get great story ideas from that because you see how is all this affecting our lives, and you get it firsthand from people.
All right. Well, listen, it has just been a pleasure to know you. I've been a big fan, watch you all the time on the national level. And the fact that you came here to Tampa, Florida, I know it's very close. Tampa Bay is your hometown. It's just been an honor. So thank you so much.
Great to be home and great to be in your presence, Gail.
Thank you.
Even with Terrence here.
I know. Thank you, Terrence, for
You're welcome.
switching
Thank you,
today.
guys.
And listen, you can watch our streaming show, Bloom Health Club, on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, Samsung TV, WFLA.com, and YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And a quick thank you to Monticello Family and Sedation Dentistry for believing in us and keeping the show streaming. We'll see you on the next Bloom Health Club.